Morning.
Good morning.
Good
I wasn't going
morning.
to appear late to this one. I was like going in. Uh,
Nice.
yes,
Are you
this
ready
is
for the long
software
weekend?
request.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, I am. I was like, I have plans.
I was like, yes, yes, I am. I am
hmm
too.
Yeah, I'm like sending emails to people. I'm like, I would like to get this stuff submitted by the end of today. So, because I'm going to be gone next week. So,
Ooh,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I know. I'm happy. I'm going to the CSU ARC conference.
Ooh,
Um I know I was like, ooh, excellent. They
nice.
actually have a lot of sessions that I want to go to, and one of them is on CSU BY. So I'm like, I'm definitely going to that. Um,
Nice.
but it's in Rancho Mirage in like this hotel golf resort spa place, and I was like, yay.
Swanky.
Yeah, I know. I'm so lucky. But yeah,
Nice.
so now I'm like email on people's back at my department. I'm like, I want this stuff submitted now. If you want your reimbursement, send it to me now.
You're like, I will be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we got those deadlines, so
I know. I know.
Yeah.
It's a
But I will
very,
say everybody in like the payment, accounts payable and procurement have been really cool this year with because I had like several requisitions that had been submitted but hadn't been like fully approved before the what was it, the 10th deadline?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And they still approved them, and I'm assuming that they were like they're gonna hit our this fiscal year. So we really appreciate that.
We're trying to be like as flexible as possible with the whole like moving into this
Yeah,
P2P
no, and
system. So,
yeah, I mean we tried to get everything submitted as as fast as we could, and that's why I've been jumping on these trainings too. So I'm like, if I'm gonna
nice.
screw up, I'm gonna try to catch my mistakes now. But just the fact that you guys are not like saying 5 o'clock at this time of day is like nothing past that,
Yeah,
I really appreciate that, and my budget analyst is really happy about that too. So
yeah. Marina's
thank you
great
so
about that.
much.
Marina's
Yeah.
very like trying to be kind and generous and like, okay, let's ease everybody in. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, definitely this year because there have been so
yeah.
many changes,
I
and
know.
trying to keep, I mean, it's not even just the payment processing, it's like policy changes have I'm like having to resave everything, so I'm like
Yeah.
highlighting stuff. So,
Yeah, there was
but
like the per diem change, P2P, all this. Yeah, lots of change.
the travel changes I love. So far they have, in my experience so far with processing like the travel claim requests or
Hmm.
worksheets, that has been really nice. It's
Hmm.
much faster.
Hmm.
Um,
That's good.
so that's I like that a lot.
Good.
The per diem is so much easier. Like
That's
I
good to
swear,
hear.
like it's always like when I don't when I in the past when I would submit a reimbursement with a
Hmm.
person's like meal receipt, and I would forget to calculate out how much they would tip, and then it would come back to me later like, sorry, they over tipped by like 50 cents,
I
and
know,
I'm
and you're
like,
like, oh, yeah,
gosh. I'm
yeah,
like, darn it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so this now is much simpler.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so lots of other people are hopping on. We have two very special guests in the house today. So we have Crystal Jenkins. Hi, Crystal Jenkins, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. And Terry Kelly from procurement. Crystal showed her face
Good
for a hot
morning.
second. She turned her camera off because she doesn't like to see herself on camera. So they are the main IT buyers in procurement. So I asked them to join us today because they work very closely. We tried to get Doug Cornell on the call, but he is on vacation. He decided to go on vacation today. So they work very closely with Solutions Consulting. So I asked them to join the call today because I know filling out the software request has a lot of questions, and you guys have had a lot of questions about the questions on the form. So these lovely ladies are gonna help us navigate this form. So I'm gonna drive and I'm gonna be filling out the form, and then they'll kind of explain what the questions are to the best of their ability, and then explain a little bit more about the solutions consulting process. And then any questions that they can't answer, or questions that they can't answer that you have, we'll kind of circle back and send an email out to the group afterwards. But that's kind of the plan for today. Any questions before
Hello,
we start?
everyone.
And thank you again, ladies, for joining. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. So let me pull up the box folder and I'll send you the quotes that we're gonna work on. Okay. All right. So, Terry and Crystal, normally what we do is I put the quotes of what we're gonna do, I put it in the chat so that everybody can open it on their end, so I don't have to be like sharing the quote and P2P at the same time. It's just like an easier way to go about it. Um, oh, nice. Did you do that for me, Crystal?
That's just for the solutions consulting
Oh,
request
thank
form.
you.
So people make sure that when you're submitting a software request, that you use that form as well.
Thank you, Miss Jenkins.
You're welcome.
Okay, so here's the link to the box folder. So, I pulled a request that's already been done in P2P. So I just used Tabitha's requisition as a example. So she had 4 attachments in her requisition. So Terry and Crystal, if you want to pull these up on your end, I don't know if you want to explain what these documents are first, or if you just want me to go straight into the requisition. It's your call.
I think you can probably just go straight into the requisition because some people may not have all the documents that Tabitha, they might not need to upload everything that she uploaded.
Sure.
Does that
Okay.
make any sense?
Yeah. All right. I'll just start driving and we'll get into it. Okay. Get out of here and I'm going to share my screen. Okay. And then let me pull up this on my other side here so that I have this on this side. Okay. So pull up my annotations too, so I have that ready. Okay. Okay, so we are doing a IT software request, so that's where I'm going to go first. Okay, so again, every form will tell you what to use this for and what to not use this for. So this is just a disclaimer saying don't use this if we're doing IT hardware accessories, goods or services, so on, so on, so on. So we know that we're using the correct form, so we're going to hit next. It's going to ask me for the supplier, so this is Revity. I believe it's 2 V's. Yes, Revity is selected, so I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Okay, so now this is where we get into the questions. Okay, so Terry and Crystal, feel free to jump in. Okay, so request type. This is asking if this is a new acquisition or a repeat acquisition. So I believe Tabitha orders this every year.
Yes.
So this would be repeat.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's kind of the same for if it's a new request, it's still just you just click new request or new acquisition. It's it doesn't make you do anything different.
Okay.
Does
And
that make
then
any sense? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. And if you guys have questions as we go, feel free to throw them in the chat. Terry, do you mind monitoring the chat for me?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. And then if you guys want to put them in the chat or come off mute, feel free. We have 2 hours for this whole just one request because I knew you guys would have a lot of questions. So anytime, I'll have Terry monitor the chat for me. Did anybody have any questions on that before we move on?
No, nothing here.
Perfect. Okay, name of IT product or service. So the name of this IT product is ChemDraw. I'm going to move on. Okay. Do you have a campus IT request number -ITPR?
So that number is generated when you submit a solutions consulting request. So the answer should be yes, but sometimes people will submit a requisition without it. If you click the yes, it should ask you for the number. If you click no, it does not. So you guys should always submit a solutions consulting request before you go through the requisition process. And since this was a repeat acquisition, she should have had her number from the request previously.
So where would she get that number?
So anytime someone submits a solutions consulting request, it goes, they automatically receive an email
So this
and
number.
that RIT number, yes, that's the number that they can put in there.
Got
And it's
it.
just a way, because once it goes through the whole review process, this requisition thing will go to Doug. And if that number is in there, he can actually see that a ticket has been submitted in ServiceNow or the solutions consulting, and it makes the approval process easier.
And just note that in the box folder, the request is in there with the number as well.
Yes.
So that's the email I
The one
just
that you
showed.
shared this morning. Mhm.
Okay, so I put in that RITM number, and that is the Revity PDF attachment in your box folder. Any questions on that, guys, before we move on? Okay. Next, and just so you guys know, the questions with the star are required. So you have to fill those out or it will not let you proceed to the next page. So I have to answer these questions. Okay. IT product or service type. Cloud, maintenance, software, website, other. I believe this is software.
Yes, it is.
Perfect. Okay.
And most of your requests probably will be software
Because it's a software
or
request. Okay.
Yes.
Will this item be obtained electronically? I believe that's a
And
yes.
yes, so most cases nowadays it would be obtained electronically because they will give you like a download for the computer versus the actual software disk or something to insert into a computer like the old days. So most of them are electronic.
Okay. Briefly describe why this requested item is needed and its intended use. So I think this is for chemistry students. I'm just going to put
A lot of this information is duplicated from the solutions consulting request too. So just for FYI.
so it says it. So it says it like it lets them make. Oh, I see. I'm looking over here on my. It lets them draw 3D models. 3D models of atoms and make sure I'm spelling that correctly. Bond rings. As you can see, I am not a chemistry major. Bond rings. Okay. Is the software requested subscription based? I believe that is a yes. It's a license.
So Chris, I'm not sure how we would put that under the license because that would be renewed each year. So that's not necessarily a subscription, right?
How would a person determine if it's a subscription for their software? Does anybody know?
Because normally if you're buying, well, if you're buying a one-time license,
Mm-hmm.
which happens sometimes, then that would be no, because you just have to pay that first time, but then you can use it forever.
Mhm.
So I would say if it's going to be renewed every year, if you have to pay every year for the license, then that would be a subscription base. Does
So
that make sense?
the
Yeah.
quote says 4/17/2024, quote expires 5/17/2024. And it's just a license. It doesn't auto renew. And I know that she has to do this every year. Like I know that this goes through every year. It doesn't auto renew.
So then would we consider that a subscription then? So it's going to be, you're subscribing to it every single year.
So can you click yes for me, Bianca?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Mhm.
And then it actually says if it's
Oh.
monthly, yearly, multi-year, or other.
So I'm going to say yearly.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that would
perfect.
make sense.
Thank you. Does the licensing model support and separate development, test, and production environment model without additional cost for development test environment licenses?
So now this question is one that I had for Doug because I don't speak IT.
Mhm.
So I have no idea what the answer is to this, but I believe that it would be a no for this situation.
Okay.
But
Or-
then you have to type more. I don't know. I'm sorry, you guys.
Do you want me to put NA?
You can put NA.
Okay.
And if you guys don't know the answer to something when you're doing it, it's okay to reach out to us. Or you can even reach out to Doug. He's very helpful. I'm sure he's not going to want everybody sending him requests, but or if you email the CSU BUY team, we could reach out to him to figure out what's going on because we don't want you just to submit the wrong answer and then it kicks it back for some reason. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are very detailed questions.
they
And I
are.
did get a question in the chat from Martha. What if we choose the wrong service type?
For the subscription part, Martha?
Let me go previous.
Yeah, I'm helping. I'm in the committee for the mural on campus, and I'm the only ASC in the committee. It's mostly faculty. So I'm helping Jesse Sugarman with this part. We already got a ticket from Pierre who told that he did the solutions, and so we have the number.
Okay.
I'm glad I'm here because I didn't know all of these other extra steps. I'm not copied on the solutions. I don't have a copy of it, but I can fill this out. And I think this is for a service that will put out a call out for artists. And I think it's a website,
Okay.
but because I don't think it's software. I honestly don't know what it is, but if I pick the wrong one, is that okay? I mean, you guys will let me know or
We will definitely let you know.
okay.
But it's not like you're going to get a big red X on your screen and yeah, it's not. It's just a way to kind of make sure that it's going through the right process.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that these questions actually do anything specific other than
Okay.
give information to the next person as to what to
Yeah.
look for.
I've never heard of this solutions process, so this is all new to
Um,
me. I'm so glad you guys are having this today.
so Martha, what was the name of your thing? Because I'm gonna just look and I'll send you your ticket number.
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to send it to you?
Can you please?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Terry and Crystal are very nice and very helpful. So if you have
Yeah,
questions, they will
I know
help.
Crystal. I've known Crystal a long time.
That's right. But thank you for the compliment.
Okay, are we ready to move to the next page? Okay, I'm going to move to the next
Ready.
page. Okay. Okay. Will the product/service interact with any campus application or system?
Can you hover over the little question mark?
Yep, I was just gonna say, these little question marks will, if you click on it, it will kind of give you a better explanation of what the question is asking you. So example, any campus portal interface with any data warehouse, Active Directory groups, and security campus networks, identification and authentication services, storage, infrastructure, and data center services. So it's asking,
So
go ahead, Crystal.
I just think that most of the people that submit software requests outside of IT will answer this question with a no. There will be some people who will say yes if they need to interact with maybe like an enrollment or something. They might have to use one of the other systems on campus to interact with their product or service, or maybe even HR or something. But for the most cases, it will be a no.
I'm going with no. Will the product/service collect, transport, store, and/or analyze, process campus data? Example, the new product will collect data. The service will leverage existing data, which will require data mapping and integration. That said data a lot. Go
So
ahead.
for Tabitha's request, I think it is also a no.
Okay.
But each person's situation it'll vary from case to case.
Okay. What type of users will utilize the product or service? Public, students, staff, and faculty.
So I think for Tabitha's request again, I know she said it's for students. And I'm assuming maybe some faculty will be using it if they're working with the students.
Okay.
Can
But
actually look in her thing
Mhm.
and from the box folder to see exactly.
But again, this would vary depending on what your actual software request is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people won't necessarily buy software that's for the public either. Like there are some departments on campus that will, but you kind of, when you're submitting a request, you kind of have an idea of why you're submitting the request, right? Or why you're purchasing it. So it just vary from requester. And
So
if you guys are submitting requests on behalf of someone else, ask them questions because you need to know as much detail as possible. And then sometimes some of the faculty will say, oh, just submit this request for me. You're like, I have no idea what the software is for. And then it just causes delays.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to ask some questions or even to have them submit the solutions consulting request form because again, like I don't speak IT language. And if I don't know the answer to something, I normally send it to Doug and he'll answer questions and stuff for me. So if you guys don't know, it's better for you to go ahead and let the person that's going to use it submit that request for you. Not necessarily requisition, the solutions consulting request. And then that information you can use to help you submit your requisition. Go ahead, Bianca.
Okay. Did we have anything in the chat, Terry?
Not yet.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Do users require access from off campus?
I'm going with a no for this software.
Okay. Will IT staff be needed to implement this software?
I think IT staff has to implement all software on campus now.
Okay.
Because I don't think we have admin credentials to be able to install software without going through IT to install it.
That would make
Does
sense.
anybody know anything different?
That's what I thought too.
I feel like that makes complete sense because you can't really download anything on your computer without IT. Agree. Is the product service hosted offsite, outsourced, or cloud hosted? The product service does not reside at the campus. The infrastructure is hosted at an off-campus location and involves remote virtual services via a secure network connection.
And so for some of the software requests or depending on the vendor, some of the things are hosted offsite.
Okay.
So again, it would just depend on, especially like cloud type things. It just depends on what you're purchasing.
And generally,
So-
there's a reference saying cloud hosted somewhere in that description.
Yes.
Okay. So this one, I'm seeing I'm looking. CamDraw, blah, blah, blah. Mac users will need to install, okay, subscription. I'm just looking to see if it tells me anything. Cloud solution or professional services you are aware you are downloading, accessing. So this says cloud solution. Do we know if this is cloud-based? I'm just trying to look through the documents.
I'm looking at the details of her solutions consulting too.
Thank you.
Sorry. No, I think it's both.
Both? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it looks like there's management reporting and presentation through the service,
Okay.
but it's using information from the site, right? From the campus.
I was just kind of briefly looking at the agreement. And yeah, it's like just kind of skimming through it and it's both. And again, when you guys are submitting these requests, it's okay to ask whoever you're submitting it for more details.
So I'm going with both?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, does this product act as a server or accept inbound network information? The product server acts as a server listening for requests. I think no.
I'm going with no.
Okay. Will the software need data from any campus systems applications? Single sign-on authentication, data from existing systems? I think that's a no.
I'm going with a no. Now, sometimes when you guys submit solutions consulting request, Doug, he will review, or the team really will review the software. And if they feel that is like some security concerns with how you log in, depending on what type of data will be processed, he might say that they might want it to be used with your single sign-on. So IT will work on all that for you. And that answer might be yes when it's time to submit this form, but you will find out, like, again, Doug will let you know once it's approved, if there's any specific details that he feels needs to be included with your software request. And most of that we work out with the agreement part of it, but for this one, it's a no.
Okay. How many users will utilize this product or service? Is that a question that's asked at the point?
It is
Okay, perfect.
for solutions consulting. I think it
Yes.
says, will 10 or more users use it? And they say yes or no
I
on the
have
actual request.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
On that question, um, is it how many users? Is it the people that are going to use it internally, like in the mural committee, the staff that are working on this project, or the public that is going to be applying to? Like for mine is going to be a call for artists to paint the mural. So do you count both sides? I don't understand the question.
So, normally it's like how many people will use the product or service. So since it's a website, you can probably put like 10 plus on your
Okay.
answer. Will it let you type a plus sign on that? No. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So again, on the solutions consulting request, it's the ticket says, will the technology or product or service be used by more than 10 individuals?
Oh,
And you
okay.
answer yes or no. So for this, you can type the number.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And sorry, for this example, Bianca, Tabitha answered no for the solutions consulting request.
She put what?
No, so that would be less than 10 users. You can put
Oh,
like
okay.
9.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions before we move on to the next page? All right. Moving on. Okay. Provide the supplier website.
So this information is actually all on the ticket as well. And
Okay.
I'll put this information in the chat for you if you want, Bianca.
Sure. Thank you.
That's the website. I had a phone number, correct?
Yeah, it's wanting like contact name, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Thanks, Crystal. Okay. Do that. So there is the website.
I think her name is
Supplier
Yasmin. Did I
contact
copy and paste that
name.
in there? And all this information, as you can see, there's no star next to it, so
Mhm.
it's not mandatory, but it is helpful if you have it.
Let's
You
see.
can, you're not really submitting this request, right?
No.
Okay. Make something up.
Mm-hmm. .com. I don't know her title, so we're just gonna skip that. Okay, so there's that part. Okay. Okay, so please upload the quotes you received and other software details. Okay, so this is a required field, so I have to put it, unfortunately, but we'll show you where to put it in a better section so your DOAs and buyers can get to it easier. It was in my downloads, so let me just pull that. Downloads. So it was this one. So I'm just choosing my file and I have to give it a name. So I'm just going to name it quote for now. And I'm going to save that there. So I had to put it there because it's a required field. It's asking for like the accessibility documentation and all of that. I'm going to skip this part for now and add it in the attachment section just because it's way easier to get to when it's in the attachment section. So we're just going to skip this part for now and I'll show you a better place to put it when we get there. Okay, so now we're to the final part, the actual important part, the cost details part. Okay, so now it's asking me for a unit price. Okay, so 640. One. Crystal, how would you like me to put the unit of measure?
Do each. Why
I'm going
not?
to do each. Okay. Okay, and then now it's wanting the description. Just going to do ChemDraw. I spell, oh, nope, lie. That's not how you spell license. There we go. License. Okay. And then it's asking me for a start date.
So the term for this was April 30th of 2024
Okay.
until April 29th of 2025.
Okay. And then there's a catalog number you can put. The part number is, do you want the part number or no?
It's if they can type it, then sure, why not? Because this information it transfers over, and then that way they can it goes to it's actually on the PO, correct?
Yes, all of that flows through the PO.
Yeah, so if it's flowing to the PO, then I think the more information they have that goes to the vendor, the better that it'll be. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay. So
One thing I did note,
go ahead, Terry.
I'm not sure if it's because of the unit of measure, but I noticed it automatically put taxable. Yes, there wasn't an option to change that.
Mhm.
Most software, if it
It's not
is
taxable.
downloaded, is not taxable.
Okay.
We can change that on our side when we get it, but I just wanted to make a note. So I don't know if that's tied to the unit of measure or not, or if it just automatically comes up taxable all the time.
Yeah, this auto populates here and we can't change that. We can put it in ticket for that, Terry, and tell them, hey, most software is not taxable. We can put in a ticket.
No problem.
And you have to change the date.
Yeah, it's not. I'll just put today's date. Oh, 5/23. Okay. Save. Okay. Any questions on that before we go to the next page? Okay. Okay, so all of my check marks are complete. I don't have anything else that I need to add. So I'm gonna go add and go to cart. Oh, it didn't make it taxable. Look,
Oh, good.
that's interesting. Okay, yeah, so it's not taxable. It just says taxable before and then not taxable. So we're good. So it is coding it correctly to IT software and it's not taxable, so it's not showing any taxes. I can name my cart. I'm just going to name it ChemDraw. My delivered to location is auto-populating, so that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed to checkout. Proceed to checkout. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my attachments here. Adding attachments here just makes it easier for your DOA approvers, your budget analysts, and the buyers AP to just quickly go into this attachments tab and view your documents instead of having to go all the way back into the form to view them. So I highly recommend adding the attachments in the attachments tab. So you can drag and drop your files or browse, or if you have them like in a box folder, you can add the documents link to the box folder here. So let me add them. I have them here in my downloads, so I'm just going to quickly add them. There's the first one. There's the second one. There is the third one. And then one more. Okay, so there's all 4 of my attachments. Okay, last thing I need to add is my chart filled strings here. You have to pull when you have to select when it drops down like that. The account code auto-populates based off your commodity code, which was IT software, which is correct. So my chart filled string is populated. Okay, I have no error messages at the top and my submit request button is in red. So this is ready to submit. I'm not going to actually submit the request because this is a duplication of another request that's already been done. So this is complete and ready to submit. Any other questions we have on software request?
I just that we need the ticket, to fill this out. We need the actual ticket that was sent in because I'm just helping as an ASC capacity, and I didn't submit the ticket.
So
I'm gonna-
it's better,
Mhm.
I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
it's better to have the ticket, but Martha, if you email me what it's about, then I'll give you that ticket number because I can
Okay.
look in solutions consulting for you.
All right, thank you.
And then you can always ask Jesse or whoever
Yeah,
is working on it too, but I'll be helpful and knock it out for you.
yeah, I hopefully I'll see him today at Dr. Jackson's goodbye farewell, and
Mhm.
or I'll just email him. Yeah, we've been corresponding. We haven't really
Okay.
done anything. We're in this process right now.
Right, but and again, if you need me to look it up for you today, I can go ahead and look it up for you. I don't
Okay,
mind.
I mean, if you could, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Bye.
So, Crystal, can you briefly go over, and sorry to put you on the spot. Can you briefly go over like what solutions consulting is and how to go through that process, like how to submit a ticket, because I've never done one and I don't know how to actually do that process.
Sure.
Because I think people think that P2P circumvents like having to go through that process, and it doesn't. So if you could show them that, I think that would be helpful.
I will.
Thank
I will
you.
actually even go to the link that, in fact, can you click on the link that I sent? The
Oh,
top in the chat?
yeah. Yeah, hold on. Let me get there. Chat. Okay. It's thinking. Okay. And okay. Okay.
So basically, solutions consulting request form is used for software, and it's just to make sure that the software is accessible and that it's secure. So you don't want to buy software for students and you have students who can't use the software. Or you don't want to buy software for your staff and faculty if you have people who may have accessibility issues with that. So it's best for you to go through the process to make sure that you don't spend money on something that no one can use. It's just a way to make sure that everyone is covered, and we want everybody to be able to use what they need to do their jobs, right? So if for some reason, like a lot of times people in the athletics department may want some type of software that's used for, I don't know, say track and field, and they might have a student that may have some type of disability, or they might not be able to see something that's related to the software. Well, they have to have a workaround for that. And that's when they create something that's called an EEAAP. And I can't tell you what that stands for. Actually, I can because it was on top of this box folder. But they have workaround solutions. So it's not always a no. We find ways to make sure that everyone is covered. So with the form, did it take you to that, or it didn't take you to the actual form? Oh, sorry, Bianca. So yes, that's an example of an EEAP. So it's an equally effective alternative access plan. So if for some reason they find that the software is not accessible the way that they want it to be, and they give you a reason why it's not, then they find a workaround, and you have to work with your department to figure out what that workaround is. You don't have to go into all the details to see what the problem might be on this form, but just letting people know that it's not, that they find ways to make things work for the campus.
Yeah, like they make an accommodation plan and they
Yes,
like, yeah.
but for the link that I sent you,
Mhm.
because when I click it, it takes me to an actual form. It took you to, oh, because you were already logged in service now.
Oh, maybe do you want me to go somewhere else?
Can you try to click the link in a different web browser and see if it opens up the actual form?
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Wait, no, I want to go to Edge.
Oh,
I don't think that worked.
that's not right. No.
Okay, hold
I
on.
can share my screen.
Yeah, you want me to stop? I can stop.
The link that she put at the very top is, I got to the service now. Is that where you guys are wanting to go?
It should take you to a solutions consulting request form
Oh,
in the service center. It's
Go
a
ahead,
part of
Crystal.
service now, yes, but let's
Feel
see.
free to share.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let me share my screen and share the right screen.
yeah. It's on
But
there.
can
I
you
didn't
see,
click on it.
Yes.
can you see the CSUB Solutions Consulting request? Okay, so this is the form. And it kind of gives you a breakdown of why you use the form, who to contact, how long it takes, just some nice little helpful information on there. And then it automatically populates some information. So it has who is requesting the form. This is all auto-populated. The question is, have you identified a technology product or service that you like to use? Most times it's a yes, because you kind of know what you want to buy. Sometimes it may be a no. You may be looking for help from IT to figure out what you can use, because believe it or not, they have a list of software. So sometimes it's nice to use something that's already approved. The next question is this purchase related to gene synthesis equipment or gene synthesis products? You will know if it's a yes or a no. Most of that is related to like lab type of equipment or something that's collecting some type of genes stuff, like biology type of things. So again, you will know, or the faculty that you're working with will tell you if that's a yes or a no. And basically, if you say yes, then it just triggers an extra step for us to do on the back end. But most times that will be a no for most of our requesters. Will the technology, product, service, or request collect, access, store, or transmit confidential information? That will vary. If it's a yes, it takes you to a different form, which I had a cheat sheet for that instead of taking you all the way. Sorry. I thought I had a cheat sheet. So it is here. So that link, the link here takes you to a policy for information security data, which I just made it easier and put it on a PDF for this purpose of this meeting. And it just talks about the different types of data. Confidential is like level 1, and they have, which includes like birthdays, social security numbers, medical records. Level 2 data has this information here. And then level 3 is just general information. So you will kind of know, again, what needs to be included on your actual form. So that was this question. So you can put yes or no. If there's a cost associated, because sometimes some software is free. So you answer yes or no. If it is a yes, you have to say that funding has been secured, because hopefully you're not trying to get software if you don't have the funding for it. So normally that would be a yes as well. Will the technology or product or service be used by more than 10 individuals? Sometimes it's a no, because sometimes just one person is using the software, maybe 2 or 3 in a department. Sometimes it's a classroom, so it just depends. You answer yes or no. If there will be any students utilizing the technology, especially if it can impact their grade, and you answer yes or no on that as well. And then you have to state what the problem or business need is. So you just type something in. Not like Bianca, where I'm going to type some real words. I'm going to just type letters. And then here, if approved, will you need them to help install it? And that's normally a yes, because again, I think all software has to be downloaded and we have to have admin credentials. So it's a yes. And then do you require integration with other applications or data source from CSUB systems? And that's a yes or a no. It's pretty easy. Then you, again, select who's going to use it. So maybe faculty or students or just staff. You type the name of the product. And at the end, you hit order now, which I'm not going to do it because it will create a ticket. And then you'll get like an email saying that the ticket has been submitted. And then the solutions consulting team meets once a week on Mondays. What happens is once your ticket has been added to the queue, it will be assigned to a person on the team. And lately it's been a lot of tickets assigned to Doug. But there's a whole crew of us. It's what, Terry, it's about 10
I
people?
think there's about 8 of us in it.
Eight, 10, yeah, somewhere around there. It'll be assigned. They'll reach out to you if they need any documentation from you, any questions they may have. The process can take a few weeks depending on how responsive the vendor is because they need to get documentation. So they'll let you know, like, we need a VPAT, we might need some kind of security documentation, whatever the case may be. Whoever's assigned the ticket will say what they need. They will possibly reach out to you for help to get that information from the vendors, because most times you guys have some type of relationship with the vendor more so than we would in the solutions consulting group. And once they get everything they need, it's reviewed. The team will approve or deny it. 9 times out of 10, it's approved. Sometimes it's approved with, like I said, the EEAAP. And we go from there. Once it's approved, then procurement can start the process with agreements if need be, or even purchasing it, but we cannot purchase software until it has gone through this process. And also I see Melissa's on the call and Bethany, and they both know that some people have tried to order software on their credit cards, on Pro Cards, and well, they're not supposed to do it without permission for one, but it also has to go through solutions consulting too. So there's no skipping steps. Things still need to go through the right process.
And I
Any
was just going to
questions?
mention that this process should be initiated prior to the requisition if possible. And in Tabitha's box folder, there is a copy of the email request that gives you that number to put in for the ticket number.
Yes. And again, no one wants to spend $40,000 on some software and then you can't use it on the campus because it's not accessible. So it's just best to make sure that we follow the steps. We're not trying to be the police and stop people from buying things. We want to make sure that everybody can use it.
Crystal, I have a quick question.
Okay.
So for supporting documentation other than the quote, do you want us to submit that email approval from IT after we receive it for the solutions request?
It's nice to have it in there so that we don't have to click in other systems to see if it's been approved. So the more information that you have that you can attach to the requisition, the better off it'll be. And
Perfect.
please,
Thank you
if
so
you
much.
get any like agreements or anything from the vendors, please attach that as well. Because sometimes people think, okay, well, let me just submit this and then we can send a purchase order and that way to be purchased. But then if there's some type of agreement tied to it, it's still not complete until we take all the steps necessary. So please attach everything.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Crystal, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So once you know something is approved through accessibility, do you have to do it again or it's like approved forever?
It's approved. So things are added to a software approval list.
Mhm.
So like if for some reason people, don't have their ticket number, they can say that it was previously approved and then we can look in ServiceNow at that list to see that it's been approved. The only time that you need to go back and have it reapproved is if you're changing something or adding an extra service or an extra component of the software that might need to be looked at.
And then I know sometimes we talk about it's approved for like one part of campus, like, oh, this is approved for athletics. How does that work when it's like
Yes.
only approved for one department? How does that?
So So for like the example that Tabitha has, the software was approved for her department because they have an EEAAP in place. So that department made a plan on what they're going to do to make sure that it's accessible for their group. They can't approve it for the whole campus because somewhere in there, their documents weren't, or they felt like the vendor's website or whatever the case may be wasn't accessible on the level that they want it to be. So if another department wants to use that same software, they would need to submit a request and then they would have to develop an EEAAP for them. Or at that time, the vendor may need to step their accessibility stuff up and make it where it's accessible for everyone and then it can be approved for the whole campus. Does that make any sense? Yeah. So some software is not a one for all, like, okay, like Microsoft, we can all use that. It's accessible for everyone. But then, like I said, with Tabitha's, it's specific for her area. Any questions?
That's helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. I feel like I'm just like talking a lot.
You're
No,
explaining it well.
yeah, it's very
Yeah.
helpful because I didn't know about a lot of this stuff before, and I've been learning along the way. So it's helpful for everyone to know.
Great.
And also there's some software listed on the, if you go to the IT page, the ServiceNow page, it'll have software that's campus-wide used, but it won't have everything on there that's been approved to use because we may not have a campus-wide license. So there's which is why a department might submit it. And then they say it's already approved campus-wide, and they go ahead and say, not campus-wide, anybody can use it, but the individual departments need to request it. Because they may not want to purchase a huge license for the whole campus if only 2 departments are going to be using it.
Terry, do you mind putting that link in the chat?
Let me look for it real quick.
Yeah, no problem. Does anyone else have any other questions IT related, like hardware requests or anything, while we have these 2 lovely ladies on the call? They're the subject matter experts for sure, so
I wouldn't
Def-
call myself an expert, but I try to be as helpful as I can.
anything about like Dell, Apple, that's usually Terry's area. I would definitely ask while we have them.
Thank you. This was very informative.
Yes,
You're
I learned a
welcome.
lot too.
So on that link, there's a information for hardware acquisitions and software acquisitions, and how to do software ordering, approved software. And if you click on that next link, it'll give you a list of approved software. And it will tell you if it's a campus one, if there's a license cost, things like that. But then IT can help you with those individual items.
Okay, are we seeing what she's talking about? Are we seeing?
Yes, so under software, there's one that says approved software.
Oh, dang.
And it will tell you what's been approved. And they may, I think they only list ones that are approved for a whole campus use, not just an individual, but I'm not 100% on that.
I think you're right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Very nice.
And I don't know how often they update this page either.
Oh yeah, and it even tells you what the columns mean.
Mhm.
Very nice, Terry. That's a nice little tidbit of information you just shared. I never knew about this. So now I won't have to bug you anymore. Hey, Terry,
No,
is
it's
this
fine.
approved?
Well, and then if it's not on the list, it may still be approved, but maybe it's just approved for an individual, so they
Yeah.
don't have it on the list.
I never knew about this. This is crazy.
Wow, it's 520 listed on there too. So again, sometimes there's software already out there
Snag it, Bethany.
and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sometimes
Bianca and I
people,
use Snagit for the quick reference guides. It's very helpful if you ever
Yeah.
make any
Yes.
training materials.
And it's free. It's free. Nice. Anything else in your little secret stash?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, guys, any other
And there's no more
questions?
questions.
Oh, go ahead, Terry. Sorry.
I was just saying, there's no more questions in the chat either.
Okay. If no one has anything else or any other questions, that was all we had for you guys today. Unless you guys want to see anything else or any other questions. If not, we'll let you guys go and give you an hour back.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Crystal. I learned a lot
You're
from you guys
welcome.
today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bianca, and
And feel
everyone
free
else
to
for
reach out if
joining.
anybody has anything else.
We're here to help.
Yes. All right, guys. Have a great long weekend.
Bye.
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 Bye, guys. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.